It's okay, I'm good. No, thank you. It's good. Okay. Put this- Okay, so this one, are you recording now? So somebody's writing and asking, Hi Mooji, what is beyond consciousness? Lots of love and regards, K. Santosh Narsimha, Narsimham. Okay, the point is, what is beyond consciousness? You see, this type of question, if somebody asks, what is beyond consciousness? What can I say? If I say pure awareness, but it's just an answer, no? It's just words. What is beyond there, What is God's surname? I don't know. Is that what is beyond consciousness? It has the same kind of ring to it. If you ask a question like this, you just put justice, what is beyond consciousness? But I can say, okay, the pure self, the pure awareness, the absolute principle. But will you be satisfied with an answer like that? You see? Even the question, it is not really, it doesn't have the perfume of something strong. It's just like like any other question. And I want to say something about this because it is not the words that we speak, but the energy behind them. Again, it's not the words that we speak, but it is the energy and the authority behind the words. You see? I have some letter that is in my house in London from maybe 10 years ago. I haven't opened it because I put it's like, oh God. No, just the address, It's got my name on it. Got the address, but okay, I'll read it one time. And it goes on year after year. Look at, oh my God. What can produce such an answer or a response? Because something energetically is not anything. You see? There's nothing there. So we were joking, I was saying just 2 days ago, maybe just for joke I might open it and then there's a check for £1 million. Just saying, Mooji, spend. I didn't feel any vibe about that. No. But anyway, the point is that it is not what we say or what you write. But somehow, if your own presence, even if you're confused, even if you're feeling confused, and there's really in your heart, I really would like to come out of this, it carries a power, Because the urge has got it's truthful. It's not just words, And we, in our life today, our culture, we speak a lot. Everyone has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. It's not good to be caught without any opinion. Nobody says, I don't know anything. They say, yeah, I think, And even in India, sometimes we go, and you're going someplace, you say, excuse, hello, Baba, one moment, How do I find so-and-so? They don't know. Say, oh, you go down there, they'll tell you that because somehow it's like a taboo to say, I don't know. And there's so much rest, to just admit, I don't know. You see? I heard this thing, no? Because you're from Australia, it. They say that Captain Cook, there's a story that Captain Cook, when he first went to Australia, he was being guided by a local guide, Aborigine, and showing all the different trees and all the different things, to show. And then he saw something going boing, 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 like this, no? So he asked the guide, what is that? And the guide says, kangaroo, which means I don't know, actually. And he says, oh, kangaroo. Now, I don't know if it's true. I'm saying this in front of Australian people, so they must either heard this or maybe it's not true, it's a joke or something, I don't know. But my point is that we ask things, we say things, which we are accustomed to having opinions in life and expressing. And you will never hear from a sage, they will never say, I think, well, this is my opinion, and they don't speak like this. Because if it's opinion, they're not interested. Only if something arises from the heart, that may get spoken. If it doesn't arise from the heart, somehow it's just ignored. But we say everything comes through the mind. So sometimes when we ask a question, what is beyond consciousness? I don't feel the power in it, because your question that carries your heart energy compels my heart to answer you. You follow what I say? If you ask from the mind, then I don't have enough mind to answer. Then my tongue gets heavier. I can't answer. This is why I know this question comes from the mind. But if you ask anything from the heart, even if it's something that's seems very simple, then then the heart answers. Mind answer mind, and heart answer art. Simple like that. Another one. Dear Mooji, lately I am often experiencing that I am merging with people around me, and even people who aren't physically with me. In this moment, it's not clear for me where I begin or end. I find it afterwards very confusing and frightening. Who am I? Are you familiar with this phenomenon? If so, what can it mean? Thank you so much for spreading the knowledge. With gratefulness and much love. Marijke, Marijke. Huh? No, don't guess. From Netherlands. Dutch. Okay. Marijke is pronounced? Marega. Marega. Mareka. Mareka. Sorry, Mareka. So again, lately I'm experiencing that I'm merging with people around me, and even people who aren't physically with me. So I don't quite know what you mean merging with them. In such moments, it's not clear for me where I begin or end. Okay, so normally you may have this type of sensation when your firm identity as a person is beginning to deconstruct. Usually through some spiritual practice, meditation, investigation, self-investigation, contemplation, it begins to break down the limited and very tight identity. And so sometimes you have these kind of experiences where you're not quite sure where you are. But it's okay. It's okay. Something inside knows it's okay, or should know. But I'm reading further here. It says, I find afterwards very confusing and frightening. I find that afterwards it is very confusing and frightening. Afterwards? I would imagine during, no? Okay. Who am I? Are you familiar with this phenomenon? If so, what can it mean? As I've just expressed, no? That for many people, as they are going through some inner transformation of their mental self-image and so on, the life can feel like, whoa, you're noticing strange things. Sometimes, like in meditation, maybe some colors are coming up, or you're feeling a little bit sort of like you're floating on the air or something. But they're just sensations, because for a very long time, the consciousness has been stuffed into a shape that is too tight for it, in the shape of a person. And it's much broader than the shape of a person. So now it's coming out of this caterpillar stage. It's becoming butterfly, you see? And so, whoa, hey, what's happening? So it can feel a bit like this. So you have to just get used to that it should not feel so strange, so frightening. You see? Because you're simply coming out of a very limited state and you're coming more into your universal consciousness. So of course there's going to be some change. You see? And it's not going to come all at once, otherwise it blows the mind, blows your fuse a bit. So then you become confused. So you become a little bit sort of, I don't know what's going on and so on. But it's just, you pass that also. So what can it mean? Just that. So okay, that's a straight one from, what's the name again? Mareka. Mareka. It's nice. Mareka sound. Dear Mooji, thank you for everything. Sometimes I ask myself why the self doesn't reveal to itself in my body. I watch your satsangs every day. Maybe my urge is not enough. I pray to God to give me a huge desire for truth. You say that the desire comes through grace. Do I just have to wait and pray to grace to give me more desire? With love, Juan in Barcelona, Spain. Juan. Is Juan? Juan. Juan. Maybe my urge is not enough. I pray to God to give me a huge desire for truth. I'm a little confused by that. I don't know where to go with that. Maybe my urge is not enough. I mean, if everybody's eating and I'm not hungry, would I ask, please give me some hunger so that I can eat the food? You just say, no, I'm not really hungry. If somebody comes and say, but this is the best caviar in the world, But I say, I just had a hot dog and, please God give me some space to enjoy. I don't think you would do this. So either something people say to you, maybe you should do this. You should want this. You should meditate. You should be desiring truth. And you think, well, okay, God, please help me to have this desire. So this is where I'm saying that I'm a little confused by it. You see? I pray to God to give me a huge desire for truth. But that is already a desire. That is already your desire. I pray to have this desire. Then that is already a desire. You say that the desire comes through grace. That is already grace. Because you're not praying to God to give you a bicycle or a Lamborghini. Some people pray, God, I want a Lamborghini, sort of like a metallic blue. You understand? People do pray like this. And I don't want to say they shouldn't, okay? But you're praying to God to have a urge for truth. There's something beautiful already. That desire for truth is already active in you. Just trust it. You see? You say that the desire comes through grace. So for me, this is already grace. So do I have just to wait and pray to grace to give me more desire? I think I just have to come to Satsang. Some people come and they maybe sit for a little bit and they say, I don't feel something. Some people have come for Satsang and I know they've come a few months. They say, but nothing happened. I say, why you keep coming back? And they say, I couldn't stop coming. I remember also in Tiruvannamalai in South India, there was one lady, some of you will know or remember this lady. She came from Italy, she didn't speak any English, no Hindi, no Malayalam, no Tamil, nothing, only Italian. And she did not miss one day of satsang. Okay, not one day of satsang. Even one time I missed satsang because I was sick. But she never missed satsang. So one day, I don't know, somebody asked a question and it related to this, and I asked, I said, this lady, you've been coming to satsang now for quite a long time and you are always here. You're never late and you're always at the front almost. You don't understand. I'll say this to an interpreter, you know. You don't understand English. Why are you coming? So through the interpreter, Tara was there. Anybody was here at this time who know this? Yes? Through the interpreter, she says, I cannot not come. Something here makes me be here. I'm understanding here, but I don't understand here. Energetically, my life is changing, but I cannot repeat your words. So it is a good example, because very often we rely on our mind to understand as though it's like this. So we are still very basic, because sometimes even animals come to satsang because it resonates with them. You see, they don't understand English or Portuguese, no, but they come and yeah, we like it here. You see, so they are relating to the energy field of satsang, which is a very high function. The human being, mostly we kind of forget our intuitive response to life. We have so much, it has to go to my head, you see. So do I have to just wait and pray to grace to give me more desire? I say no. Maybe you just have to come, be a little bit more in satsang. And sometimes you don't know what's going on. Some people that don't know, and I say, listen, don't worry if you don't know anything. In fact, I like when you don't know anything. Then you're just here, and then you have to kind of, you know. We have one friend, he's left today. When we came here to Portugal, no, then he also was interested in a piece of land here. And he asked, should I go for it? And I said, yes, do it, because I think one day more people are going to come here and we're going to need a place more for us to stay. So it's a good place to go. So he got it. He took the place, and it's a big place, no? And then you come here and he says, Mooji, it's a struggle for me to do over there. I want to be here, and there's a lot of work to do there. And nobody from here want to go over there, okay? And I just know it's very much. I said, don't worry, everything is okay. Then he's been over there by himself, a lot over there. Then he has to work with the local workers who don't speak any English, and he's by himself. And a few times he's come here, Radha knows him, he comes and he says, you know, like, I feel like giving up, it's too much, I can't, you know. He says, are you sure about this, Mooji? I said, look, it's okay. Everything is going to be fine, okay? Yeah, but nobody wants to come. It's fine, fine. And then just a few days ago, we were down the road, and we were standing, a few of us talking, and I heard this conversation going here between Sergio and Mahadev. Portuguese. I said, wait a minute. What is this going on here? I said, but you're speaking Portuguese. Better than anybody else here, because we're doing Portuguese lesson here as well too. But he is going. I said, look at that. You see? And so actually I said, look at this. I said, I should send more people in the wilderness. Because when you're there and you have to learn something, you learn. And if it's Portuguese or if it's the self, something has to learn. Maybe you're too comfortable, life is too nice, and you don't learn. But he was on his own in the wilderness, and he had to He had to learn because, if you make a mistake, it costs a lot of money. So he has to learn. And, but you find out. And same thing has happened with some people. They've had to be by themselves. I say, okay, you go off and you contemplate about this. I don't want to see you for 3 days. Then after 3 days, I want to see you. Then if they come back, bright, something. You see? So, dear Mooji, I have been in pain all my life and I've never had any emotions or feelings. You believe that? No, we don't believe you. No, don't believe you. It is all just light and pain for me. It's just light and pain. It is all just light and pain for me, and it feels that having no emotions means I'm less than human. Is there anything you could say on this? Many thanks, Aaron. 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 Okay. I have been in pain all my life and have never had any emotion or feelings. It is all just light and pain for me. Why light, it means light. It is all just light and pain for me. And it feels that having no emotion means I'm less than human. Is there anything you could say on this? Not much. I'd have to hear something more about not having any emotion and any feeling. Because if you have no emotion, no feeling at all, you are still there, no? To know that these things are not functioning here for me. Because I once met a man many years ago when I was selling incense in the market. One man called, "Incense man!" He came and he said, "Can you sell me a nice incense?" So I was already burning an incense. I said, "What about this one? Smell." He says, "No, I can't smell." I said, "Well, why are you buying incense you can't smell?" He says, no, because, I had an accident one time. I can't smell, and I want to show my girlfriend that I care enough, because I leave my clothes, I work a lot, and I leave my clothes around the place. And if I bring some incense, I show her that, I care, that, I said, "Oh, you never could smell?" He said, no, I was fine before, but I had a motorbike accident in Greece. And I came off my motorbike and hit a wall. And then I was in some coma for months. And when I came out of this coma, I could not remember anything. Could not remember anybody in my life before. I don't know. I don't know who I am, nothing at all. Then I had a wife or a girlfriend before, but she couldn't cope with that. Because I didn't know who she is. Who are you? I am your wife. What is it? No? So she couldn't cope. But the parents, of course, they can't give up on you. So they stayed and and he had to learn everything again. So his life started again when he was like 25 or something. He had to learn everything. He had to learn his parents. His parents are only, he was like a newborn at 25. He had to learn everything again. The doctors say if your smell doesn't come back after some few weeks, it won't come back again. And also, his taste also is gone. I said, "Taste is gone as well?" He said, "Yeah, it's gone." He said, "I can eat this paper, It don't make no difference to me." I said, "That's really good." I can eat anything. I can't smell. And then I was very struck by this. Because if I speak and look at him, I don't feel any lessening of his being. Then I start to ponder, but if, the taste is gone, the smell is gone, and maybe if the sight is gone, that's a big one, he will still be able to talk, I can't see, can't smell, can't taste. The feeling is gone. Can't feel anything. But something is inside that is not depending on these things. Easy? I am not wishing that this happened to anybody, but it was a very powerful insight. What else would go? Myself also used to get some buildup of wax, and then at one time I went to go to the doctor, no appointment. So then, then after a few days, gone, sound gone. He gave me some things to put in the ear, but it was taking very slow. For 1 week, I was living in silence. I went in my town, it's as busy as anything, and a perfect silence. And I was enjoying. I really was. And then I was inside my house one day, and then I was going to the bathroom, and I looked, and I saw a hand through my letterbox. And I said, whoa, what's that? And then I went and I saw this one friend was trying to put a notice through the door. He's been knocking for 15 minutes. I couldn't hear anything. Then I realized, okay, because you see, I could have gone to the doctor after a few days, and I didn't because I was enjoying the experience so much. Then I said, no, it's not good so like this. But there's no reduction in your being. It's like nothing feels missing to your being. It knows I can't hear, can't taste, I can't feel, can't touch, nothing. But something is there that is totally complete at the same time. You see? So it is just light and pain for me, and it feels that having no emotion means I am less than human. I don't have any emotion. So I go, people are laughing, having a good time, I don't feel anything at all. So is that means less than human? I don't know. Is there anything you could say on this? You are awareness itself. And if somehow you can really reflect on this and don't go to what society categorizes, you may find that you're perfectly okay. Or maybe a group of people beat you up. And if you have no feeling there, I think you're quite okay. Maybe you're a sage. But I just don't trust what I'm reading totally. I have no feeling, I have no emotion. I want to know if you're married also. See what your wife has to say about this. If you have a wife, you definitely have emotions, I'll tell you. Or a husband, okay? All right, whichever way. I'm not being partial about it. Dear Mooji, your words are my thoughts. I remain as awareness and wisdom comes. This wisdom you speak during Satsang. I listen from where you speak. My question is, please clarify the relationship between the subject and the object. As an example, the seen, the seeing, and the seer, and presence. Okay. Can presence be objectified, or does presence give birth to subject, which as a result gives birth to object, so seeing can take place? Thank you. I love you. Emmanuel from Johannesburg, South Africa. My question is, please clarify the relationship between the subject and the object, such as what is seen, the function of seeing, and the one who sees, and presence, you see. Can presence be objectified? So does presence give birth to subject, which as a result give birth to objects, so seeing can take place? So in a simple way, I can maybe try and explain what I have understood, or think I have understood. So does presence give birth to the subject? But the presence is felt inside you, as the feeling I am, the intuition or the sense of presence, the sense of existence I am. Nobody taught you that you exist. It's a natural feeling you exist. So the question is, out of this existence comes the subject which gives birth to object. So out of this sense of presence, the sense of somebody having relationship with the world can take place. Is that what it is? This is what I've understood, if I can make it simple, you see. Can the presence be objectified, or does presence give birth to subject, which as a result gives birth to objects, so seeing can take place? It's a complex way of putting it. In the most simple way is, once the presence arises, the sense of presence, like in the waking state. Because before the waking state happened, you as a person was not there. You as the feeling I am was not there. Isn't it? I'm not talking about dream, because in dream you might be there, but your role might change. If you are a husband in the daytime, you could be a donkey in the dream. You don't know what it is, no? But you still feel that you exist. But you'll be going, or whatever. Okay? But you still have the sense of presence, but you'd have a different identity. So, but in deep sleep, nobody's there. Isn't it? And we enjoy deep sleep, because you don't have a bed just to dream. If you only go to sleep, go to bed, and you dream, you will not be refreshed in the morning. You'll still be tired. For this rest to take place, you have to completely switch off from cognizing, from experiencing. You see? So you go into the state of total rest. No mind, no identity, no you, no me, no heaven, no earth, no God, no devil, no life, no death. None of these things are there. Okay? And we love to be in this state. We love to be in this state. But who are we in that state? Then the waking state arises. And then arising also is a sense of being again. The sense of presence comes in with the waking state. But in the night, maybe, if you go to the toilet or something like that in the middle of the night, some people go a few times, then in deep sleep you get up, no? Okay? You're in deep, deep sleep. No person, no being, nothing at all. But you don't wet the bed, no? Something gets someone go to the toilet, no? So you don't go to the toilet, but you don't need identity to go to the toilet. You don't need to go to, I am a husband. No, you just go to the toilet, and then some functions take place, then you go back to bed. So sufficient consciousness is present, but identity and role play is not important. But in the waking state, full waking state, then first the sense of presence wakes up again, and then comes the memory of self, of who you are supposed to be. And then the sense of you can come. First the I wakes up, then the you can come, then the world and time and job and everything comes up like this. So all of this is produced subsequent to the arising of presence. When the presence arises, awake, then the sense of the person can come. You see, the person cannot awake without the presence, because the person is not as pure as the presence. It is already a modification of the presence, you see. I think it's enough on that one. Dear Mooji, there has been a deep longing to watch your satsangs on YouTube, but I am finding that nothing else interests me besides that, because the words you speak are so clear and resonate deeply. However, I have found that now suddenly there is a lot of confusion. That which was so clear to me just a couple of days ago doesn't seem clear. Even to that I say okay, because somehow I know that it is the mind, and can still feel that it is seen, but something feels off with this much confusion. Can you please offer some guidance? I also wonder what your thoughts are about watching so many of satsangs. I literally watch all day and wonder if the confusion is coming from that. Too much clarity makes you confused. I love you deeply and ask you to please be as harsh as needed. I am ready to burn what I am not. That's good. So where we pick this up now? So it was nothing was existing so much interesting, just the satsangs. However, suddenly I found that there's a lot of confusion. That which was so clear for me a couple of days ago doesn't seem clear. Even to that I say okay, because somehow I know that it is the mind, and I can still feel that it is seen, but something feels off with this much confusion. So confusion you're also aware of. It is only a kind of mood. You see? Now, if you don't somehow let it get exaggerated with too much interpreting, and you start to judge yourself, oh, why am I so confused? See, then you build something up which is not true. You see? So some confusion may come for a while. You keep quiet. It will soon go, just like any cloud. Any cloud that comes in the sky is on a movement. Now, some may seem to be there for quite some time. But, you have a cup of tea and they're gone. Okay? So like this, it's just another kind of mood comes, a sense of confusion. Don't get confused about confusion. It's just a sensation. Okay, it feels like, okay, so maybe I don't even touch my mind now. And after this wave passes, it's nothing at all. But if you start to buy into this idea something is wrong, I was clear yesterday and then today I'm not so clear, and so you're actually mixing, putting too much starch in the gravy, you see. Can you please offer some guidance? I just did. And also wonder what your thoughts are about watching so many of the satsangs. I literally watch all day and wonder if the confusion is coming from that. If you're watching and you're enjoying, no trouble. But if you're watching getting headache, then stop. You see? Because it's on joy. Even if pain comes up in satsang, there's a deeper joy underneath it. Because there's an aliveness in that joy, you see? So something is beginning to interpret or discern much more clearly whether something is true or not true. You see? And some people, a lot of stuff is coming, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. You see? Sometimes people, they come to satsang and they say, what's the matter? Nothing. It's a good place. We're in the country, apparently. Okay, I literally watch all day and wonder if the confusion is coming from that. So as I said before, if you're watching and you feel that somehow it's nourishing your being, it's reminding you and you're feeling more light, more spacious, then it is good. If it's feel very heady and, oh, I didn't understand what you mean, then stop. Go for a walk, have a cup of tea, do something else. Watch a movie. I love you deeply and ask you to please be as harsh as needed. I'm ready to burn what I am not. This is it. That is it. Because what you love, you don't call work. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. If you love a thing, you don't say, oh, I got this work, I got this work to do. No, it's just your love, it's your joy. Then if you enjoy to be in satsang, you don't say, oh, I don't know, I just have too much satsangs. No, then you just take a break, you know this. So I think it is fine. At a certain point, there's something is urging you to watch these things. Or maybe if I feel more your presence, I could say, then maybe you don't look for a while. Just go to bed early and whatever. And if you find you're still craving for satsangs, then maybe go watch. But if you find after a little bit saying, oh, wow, I'm sleeping better now because I'm taking a break from these kind of way of looking at satsang. Not from the satsang, but from the addiction. There shouldn't be addiction. Dearest Mooji, awareness of mental phenomena brings cessation and peace. Awareness of the mental phenomena brings cessation and peace. Is that sufficient proof of awareness? Why does it need to be applied over and over again? The many bad things that we learned through repetition. Yeah? And many scriptures, like the Gitas from India, for instance, if you read them, it's a big fat book, but it's saying pretty much the same thing. It's repetitive. You see, it's just singing a lullaby to lullaby you into freedom, because we got lullabied into confusion. It's lullabying you into freedom. It's reminding you over and over, because many times you hear something and you misheard it. You see, your mind took it the wrong way. So it repeats it in many different ways. And then gradually, somehow, it just soaks into your being, like that. So why does it need to be applied over and over again? Is it a question of becoming at home with cessation and peace? Is it a question of becoming at home with with things slowing down? And yes, in love, Bodhi from Maui. Dear Mooji, thank you for all you are doing. My deepest gratitude to you. My question is about dreams. Even after awakening to my true nature, there are still dreams. Is it because some false identity is still lurking around, or these will continue and no attention is to be paid to them? Yes. Will they disappear completely as one gets fully established in the self? I would be grateful if you could comment on this. Thank you so much, Meena. For many years, I was not dreaming. Did not have any dreaming. Easy. I could go to bed. As I do this, I'm gone. Okay? And deep sleeping. If the phone rings, I could answer the phone 3 o'clock in the morning. Hello? Hi? Yes. Okay. Come 5 o'clock. Okay, thank you. All right, bye. Boom. Go back. No disturbance. I did not feel disturbed about it. Even one time I was sleeping and she wake up, She said, and I realized I was snoring. So then immediately come the voice. I say, actually, I am not with my body at the moment. Yeah? I'm just somehow contemplating something. I'm sorry to disturb you like this. Where are you? I don't know, in some just a natural state. And not paying attention to the body, you see. But then somehow I started to travel to India, and that first time I was in India to take a break. I went to India some 9 years ago, to take a break from Satsang. And I went back to Tiruvannamalai, which was a place I remembered where Sri Ramana Maharshi lived. And I went there because it was very quiet the last time I was there. Last time I was there in 1994. And so I went there for a break. Or so I thought. And then somehow while I'm there, somehow Satsang started there. And it became very, very full Satsang. And then after Satsang finished, many people coming and hugging and so on. And then after this, I had to return to London, and for one day only, and go to Brazil. Some people were expecting for satsangs in Brazil. When I went back to London, I was so completely exhausted, totally exhausted. Then I phoned the people in Brazil. I say, listen, Tyagi, just say yes or no, because I really could sleep. He said, yes or no what? I said, yes means I go, or no means, well, there's some difficulty. He said, no, yes, come. So, okay. Flew to Brazil, and went to Brazil, and for the first 2 weeks in Brazil, every time I closed my eyes, I saw all these beings, they're floating towards me, floating like made of light, all smiling, 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 smiling. But it was all the Satsang, the Sangha that I've met from all over the world. They're coming and they're hugging and and it was going on. I go to bed, there's all these beings floating about, hugging, like this. And then round about this time, I start having dreams again. And not always dreams floating, sometimes stupid things, some big beans or something, I don't know. But the point is that it's nothing at all. I don't want to tell anybody, to interpret this dream. Someone asked me, in my dream, I had a dream yesterday that, I was walking and then I walked to the edge of a cliff and I walked off it. What does it mean? I said, I know this one. It means you're walking and you walked over a cliff, that's all. I don't want to go into this means somehow you're going to a higher state of consciousness. No. You don't even understand your waking state. Why should I tell you about dreaming again? So my question is about dreams. Even after awakening to my true nature, there are still dreams. Yes, it's fine. Is it because some false identity is lurking around and these will continue and no attention to be paid to them? Yes. Because I suppose I tell you, you have to give full attention to this. Then I'm not helping you, I'm just sort of creating some problem which doesn't exist. It's a dream, it's okay. You know what? This is also a dream. But nobody accepts when I say that. Will they disappear completely as one gets fully established? Not that they disappear, they become insignificant. You understand? Just like many things now we consider to be so important and stuff. And then people ask, will there be no more thoughts? I would say more. One day your thoughts will not mean anything. You see? More than saying there will be no thoughts. Yeah? Because it was like this for me. There was just I could not think. You see? And many times people ask me, I had to pretend I'm thinking. They say, Mooji, what do you think about that? And but I could not do it. You see? So I had to pretend like I'm thinking. So I then asked, what do you think? And they said, I think Wednesday afternoon. I said, you know what? That's a very good idea. So I had to be bluffing. But then after I realized now the most natural thing is that the thoughts may come because they just come spontaneously. But if you don't identify with them, they don't register. And the most powerful tool is when somehow things become insignificant for you. Then they don't write themselves into your memory. They don't become some stuckness. So then you can experience everything as it is. But somehow you don't give it such an important thing. And if you don't hold on to personal identity, you'll find that your experiencing is very even, very nice, very nice. But if you identify, it intensifies the experiencing in a wrong way. Makes things important which are nothing at all. Things which are insignificant becomes important. Things which are painful becomes somehow, anniversaries. So it's not good to do all these things. Forget about it. So will they disappear completely as one gets fully established in the self? As I've just said, importantly, is just that you lose interest. Suppose you have no interest in a thing. Do you have to transcend it? No. It doesn't even register for you. You see? You only have to transcend something that has a meaning, too much meaning for you, then you have to try and get beyond it. But if something has no meaning for you, do you have to try and meditate on it? No, it doesn't even exist. You see? And this is what happens in the mind you call the sage's mind. just things become of little significance. So when the world is crying about this thing and that, they don't feel nothing at all. They say it's nothing at all. My master, there's a book about him called Nothing Ever Happened. When I first heard this, I thought, what is he talking about, nothing ever happened? You see? But then something grew inside to come to that understanding. You see? What is a happening? Is a happening real? No, it's what your mind selects and registers. Because we can all be sitting here now and suddenly some monkey come running across the room. Now, we say there's no monkeys in Portugal, but the one that there is runs here. And everybody, oh, did you see the one, some monkey and so on? But somebody here, when you ask them, what happened yesterday about the monkey? They say, what monkey? It's nothing, man. But for somebody else is making a blog about it and putting it on Facebook, the monkey. We're talking about the eternal principle, but on their Facebook, monkey running across there. So it's not that happened, it's just happens for them. It's not that things are happening, it's just that it seems to happen for you because your mind has a propensity towards that. For the one whose mind has become neutralized in the heart, nothing happens, it's no big deal. Nothing is a big deal. It's not that their senses are dead. Their senses are not dead. But whether it is high or low, it is not significant. We talk about so many things which are insignificant. In fact, we are troubling people, disturbing people with our stories, which are all nothing. Okay, this one there. Whew. Dear Mooji, I am the one that wrote to you in London Satsang, the one who said that I want freedom now. Thank you for exposing this voice as the lost person who is playing the game of I want to be awareness. Yes. I have hated myself, rejected myself for so long, meaning my person, but I see now that the person emanates from me, from the awareness itself. This little self has been a projection in consciousness, and somehow now I don't hate it anymore. In fact, I want to bring it home to Mama. I don't think I am making much sense, but I feel the question is somehow meaningful to me. With much love, Erin. I was fine with this letter. Right up until here, because this is beautiful. I said, oh, this is very good. This is a real understanding, somehow thank you for exposing this voice as the lost person who is playing the game of I want to be the awareness. I have hated myself, rejected myself for so long, meaning I rejected my person, but I see now that the person emanated from me, from the awareness itself. Beautiful. What a beautiful seeing. If we finish there. Now, okay, this little self has been a projection of consciousness. Okay, that bit is good. And somehow now I don't hate it anymore. This is good. In fact, I want to bring it home to Mama. Now, I can take that in the lightest way, meaning that somehow you just sort of like, you don't hate the personal identity, you just sort of like let it merge in the self. This is fine. So bring it home to Mama, and Mama like this also. So I hope it's not anything more than just a playful language. I don't think I am making much sense. If it's a playful thing, it makes a lot of sense for me. It's good. But if you say, come to Mama, and then I say, well, I really want to know who this Mama is. But I feel the question is somehow meaningful to me. So it's okay. And I think it's a good letter. Erin, I think it's a very good letter. And I'm glad I remembered this exchange that we had. And I think it was very beautiful. Because I remember the sense of the feeling of hating oneself. I don't like myself, I hate myself. We talked about it. And I said, but this self you hate is just your mind. It's just your egoic projection. You see? Really, in truth, you cannot hate yourself. And, sometimes people talk and even say to me, like, what about, you have any enemies? I said, I don't have any enemies. You cannot hate me, you see, really, unless you hate yourself, which you cannot even hate yourself, actually, if you know what yourself is. You see, you can only be in some delusion and think, I am over there and you're over here and you're mind or something. Then you may have this type of psychological game and experience that distaste, in a way. But as you begin to discover the truth, you feel immense love, and the boundary between I and you become very narrow, very thin, and they just merge into just a kind of global love. Doesn't need all these little compartments, and this is happening very naturally, you see. So it is good that you see through this limited idea of self. And as you said, I hated myself, rejected myself for so long, that meaning my person, but I see now that the person emanated from me, that it is, like a self-portrait I made of myself. But it's not just, it's just a limitation. From the awareness itself it came. So this little self has been a projection of consciousness. And somehow I don't want to hate it anymore. It's true, because to hate something, is an involvement, and it will suck your energy. You see? Whereas to love, it grants energy, it gives energy, in a way. In fact, I want to bring it home to Mama. Okay. It's fine. I think it's fine. It's good. Dear Mooji, I will be brief, but I would like to take a small amount of space. Thank you. From the deepest part of me, I am grateful for your pointing. In a recent live satsang, you spoke of the evolution of consciousness. I once thought consciousness was beingness. Please explain the difference. Thank you so much, Mary, from Washington, Redmond in Washington. Yes, I used the term. He says in a recent satsang, you spoke of the evolution of consciousness. Yes. The consciousness which manifests as the dynamic consciousness, in which the play of duality can manifest, and it functions as both the sense of the person appearing in the theater of consciousness, and at the same time as the weakness of the person. I call all of that the dynamic consciousness. I call the absolute consciousness or pure awareness the source from where the dynamic consciousness emerge. Dynamic consciousness, I mean like in the waking state, the feeling you have, I am. This is called the waking state consciousness. That emerged. It is not continuous. Because if it was continuous, it would be there also in the deep sleep, and it's not in the deep sleep. Something is there in the deep sleep. It is there in the waking state, it's there in the dreaming state, it is there throughout all states. But it itself is not a state. It is like a stateless state. It's pure. You cannot understand this only with the mind in this kind of rational way. It's just as you're coming into the experience, it seems to just make sense. It makes sense as a kind of resonance. It's like a synchronicity, an energetic harmony. It's not through the study with the head that it comes. It's through the vibration inside the heart. You just come to know some things. You see, we have not sufficiently immersed our consciousness in the heart enough, I would say like that, to really be able to say, yes, what you're speaking is so true. But we have an intuition about it. So I use this word, the evolution of consciousness, when the consciousness is living in the portrait of itself as a person, like as a personal consciousness. That personal consciousness is in the flow of what I call an evolutionary drive. It's flowing towards, sometimes I say towards emptiness, or towards the supreme state. But I perceive this consciousness also as phenomenal. And the pure awareness is non-phenomenal. It's just a way of that. We remember we're not talking about objective realities here, but more about very subtle concepts and energies and spirit. It's not like we're talking about, you know, 2 grams of this and 10 grams of this. It's not like that. But the terms, they need to be somehow explained sometimes in the usage, whoever is using those terms. Sometimes I use the word consciousness and mind in a similar way. And sometimes I say pure consciousness, meaning that the impersonal consciousness. And I use this kind of consciousness sometimes as being kind of personalized consciousness, or somewhere between the person and the non-person. So it's only by being in a bit of association with satsang that you come to know the meanings intuitively. So I don't want to turn it into a kind of class, you see. Maybe this one, I don't know, we're probably coming to the end. Dearest Mooji, there's a longing within me to remain in the awareness of satsang and in the presence of self and or God permanently while in this human form. Very good. Being empty with focus on that which is untouched is my main occupation and is experienced more every day. There are feelings of a beauty unknown before. My question is, will this longing be realized? As the desire for it is like a fire, will it get realized? I listen to Rumi's poetry on the internet, but this makes the longing worse. Heartfelt love, Tristan Peter. Rumi's longing and Rumi's realization are the same thing. Rumi's longing and Rumi's realization are the same thing. There's no separation actually. The longing in him intensifies his realization. It's a way in which the pure consciousness is experiencing the highest aspect of duality, which is to be in love with God. And there's so much joy emerging out of this display of this yoga of love. So he's completely consumed by it, but at the same time he's also beyond it. Is he? But the longing experienced in satsang is a longing to finish the identity which is fluctuating, is not steady. As long as you maintain or retain the identity of a person, it's never steady. Even a spiritual person is not steady. It's only the no person is steady. The no person is awareness itself. It means that from that standpoint whereby everything is seen, including the seeker of the self, is also perceived as phenomenon. Who understands this thing when I'm speaking? Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Or am I on my own on this one? Yes. So there is this is very important because it's at the very heart of this type of satsang. You see, is to be able to comprehend, to see beyond the realm of duality. That duality itself becomes phenomenal. Even in its highest expression, duality is still perceived as phenomenal. That's not dismissing. It is perceiving in the highest way. Then you are directly realized and realizing that which is unchanging, that which is untouched, that which is timeless. Not as an abstraction. It is only because we believe in our individuality, we believe so strongly in our human identity, why the Supreme is not revealed. Because we are afraid of our non-duality. We take comfort only from duality. And at the same time, we are afraid of duality also. Because duality means begin and end. And non-duality means timeless. So we are not really afraid of our timelessness. It's just a freak. It's a freaky mind That thinks, oh, I'm just going to lose. Because something feels comfortable with our little bedroom of personhood. And think that if I become infinite, I won't be able to keep my secrets. If I become infinite, I'll be spread out too thin to be really me. You see, these are the strangenesses of the mind. So when we're in the bubble of personhood, it feels like, oh, this world is so big of personhood. But when you're coming out of it, you see it's just like a little bubble in the ocean. But only when you're coming out. It is only when you are moving from one state to another state that you can look at the state you're leaving and see its imperfections. When you're in it, it feels like it's your universe. You see? When you're coming out, it's just like your cupboard. I would like that you prove these words in yourself. So, being empty with focus on that which is untouched is my main occupation and is experienced more each day, every day. There are feelings of beauty unknown before. My question is, will this longing be realized, you see? Will this longing be realized as the desire for it is like a fire, you see? So this fire, you see, is like the fire, and the moths are attracted to the fire. But this attraction is not going to last very long. You understand? The moth is not going to meet up tomorrow and talk about last night's fire. Okay. I listened to Rumi's poetry on the internet, but this makes the longing worse. When the longing becomes unbearable, then something has to explode, this duality has to finish. It consumes itself. You see, it must become so painful, but there's a sweetness in this pain at the same time. You see, there's this longing. Some people are attached to the longing. It's so sweet, sweet, sweet. But it shouldn't be that the longings become so sweet that the union becomes a bit afraid of it. You cannot be so in love with the journey, but afraid of the destination. You cannot just want to be a caterpillar all your life. And now it's time to be a butterfly. You can't let go of your leaf. You see? My leaf is a Bodhi leaf. It's a Bodhi. I'm a Bodhi leaf. Mooji, there is a thing that my mind uses to blackmail me, keeping a certain ambient of fear and distrust. Yes. The threat is that if I allow myself to fully relax, the unwanted past will repeat itself. We know this one? You have to be vigilant. See? And if I allow myself to relax, you see, the past get you again, okay? In the past, I had some beautiful openings and then some storms that got me 4 times in a psychiatric hospital. Really a bit of a devil, no? First time was 10 years ago, last time 2 months ago, immediately after Zimar. It can happen. In a way, only my self-image was the one attacked, the one that got the blows. As I said, the psychological ego, mind, cannot attack or intimidate the pure self. It can only attack your self-image, which is the idea you have of who you are, but not your true self. You see? If you understand it in the right way, then you see it's a good thing. It's a good thing that the mind attacks your self-image. Because if it didn't, you might believe your self-image is true. And you want to keep it going. And it just plants you in another womb, in another life. And you don't know where that another life is going to be, okay? Sometimes you think, oh, I want to live forever. Yeah, but as what? Okay? So we just say, you just don't take things for granted. Okay. So in the past, I had some beautiful openings and then some storms that got me 4 times in psychiatric hospital. First time was 10 years ago, last time 2 months ago, immediately after Zimar. And I told you that as soon as a human being begins to smell freedom, real freedom, I'm not talking about political freedom, I'm talking about the freedom which means that you break out from the caterpillar existence of the ego. You're free. Then some force seems to want to hold you to go back to the past. Right at the highest opportunity, the greatest point where you're about to be free, the greatest delusions start to come. And this you must overcome. This is what happened to Jesus Christ, no? Directly after the baptism, where it said the dove manifested, and landed on his head, and the voice from heaven said, "This is my son in whom I'm well pleased." Can you imagine that even God now has anointed you? Then immediately what happened? Wilderness, to meet Mr. Beelzebub. Come here. Okay? 40 days, 40 nights, doing what? Being tested somehow. But now in our contemporary time, nobody has 40 days, 40 nights. So it's been condensed a little bit. We're too impatient with 40 days, 40 days. But you go through your own tests. And it's not a cruel test. It might seem like that. It only seems cruel to the one who wants to retain the ego. But for the one who is open to truth, they will see that these pains are good. That these pains, these tests, they give you strength. You look at them, you say, okay, I can see. You don't just have one way of interpreting things. Your mind is so flexible, so broad, you can look in different ways at things. You follow or not? So like this, you don't get, you don't always think, oh, my mind is so terrible. No, your mind is your friend, actually. The mind is a friend to the wise one. Because it says, look, it is always exposing the things inside me which are not true. Because something wants to believe I'm cool. The mind goes, look, you're not cool. And this mind, how can I get rid of this mind? Actually, you don't want to get rid of this mind until you make use of it properly. Okay? And then after, when he has done his job and brought you back to the heart, then the mind will also join you. And say, look, let's be happy together, man. But if you want just to be, Mr. Ego, then he's going to bite you. You see, we have to change. Something is changing inside our way of looking. And I see and thank for those, and I see and I'm thankful for those blows that the mind give, because they made me stop becoming. They expose my projections and force me to stand naked as I am. It's beautiful. Who speaks like that? That these attacks from the mind, they force me, you see, to stand naked as I am. In my heart, I am happy and I love you very, very much. I cannot express enough this love for you. You know me. Help me, please, walk out of fear, out of judgment, and off this shadow of the past. Help me walk completely out of my self-image. Beautiful, isn't it? I don't want this self-image, anymore. I want to get out of it now. Because all it does, it belittles me. I always feel like somehow, but what it's really doing is to push you from being the ego you to be the awareness yourself. Yours forever in truth, Lucian. Lucian. Lucian is Lucian. It's a beautiful letter. Dearest Mooji, after spending time with you and the Sangha, the intensity of I identification has been tremendous. There is a space, yet the story of I has a strong pull, which is seen perhaps 90% of the time. Sometimes there is a laughter in the eye of the storm, but I am left with feelings of disappointment that in spite of peace experienced within and all other areas of life, there is little peace with my mother. In fact, it is worse than ever. Mom will get you. After receiving an email from her stating her sick view of me, I gave up caring what she thinks. That's not bad. If your mom thinks you have a sick view of you, it's not good. Unless you're really sick. Maybe you're really sick and strange. And she tells you, maybe all your friends tell you you're fine, your mom tells you you're sick. Then if you're smart enough to see that. But if you say, and I trust it, that maybe she has a very negative mentality and regards you in a very negative way, then I gave up caring what she thinks. From this intensity, I wrote the below prayer of surrender. However, after this prayer to you, the intensity has further magnified, and I notice resistance to even send you the prayer below. And in brackets, in part due to identification with disbelief now. There's no way back, so I started to say, God, I do believe. Please help me to remove my disbelief. That seems very good. Mooji, my Lord, I surrender all that is seen. I offer up all that is not seen. Take me completely and merge me with you. Please let nothing remain. I can no longer fight this fight. There is in fact no fight to be won. I lay down my weapons and bow my head at your feet. I ask you to bring a sword to my head. Kill me. I am forever yours. Amen. And this is from Kimaya in Liverpool. It's very good. As I told you, and I am, I'm very happy. I think are we there now? Maybe. When I say this, and for all of you who, I say trust what brought you here. No, trust what brought you here. Because the life is mysterious in this way. Somehow you came into the orbit of this type of energy field, the orbit of these talks. That is only putting a mirror in front of you to look into your own self, because you're not seeing deeply enough. You see? The world can only show you a physical mirror where you see your physical body. But for here you need another mirror, not merely a physical mirror, a spiritual mirror, a mirror that shows you deep into your being. Some people, they think, they're afraid to be looked at because they think that what I'm looking at or something, I'm looking at, and seeing, I'm looking at something dirty inside. I say, I don't see anything like this. I only see the self. I only see the self. So, and I only want to show you yourself. Because we are a bit exiled from ourselves, estranged from our real self. And this is why we suffer in the life, because we are living as the non-self. We are living as the idea, the identity, which you are beyond this identity. But you must win this battle. And the battle is that which keeps us holding on to a very low idea of who we are. You see? And as soon as the words begin to flower inside you. It seems this power come. There another energy inside us seems to want to drive you again to go back to the old thing. In a way, you have to trust something there, because in a way, in the big picture, it is helping you. It is still finding little things. And if your mind is right, you will make use of that. Sometimes your enemies help you more than your friends. You see? Because your friends they're also somehow dedicated to telling you lies, to make you feel good about your ego. An enemy don't care about your ego, want to smash your ego. You understand? So sometimes your enemies maybe turn out to be better friends for you. I want to tell you a story. It's a biblical story. One was very important for me in my life growing up. It was a story called The Sower of Seeds. And it's a very good story to tell in Alentejo. He said that there was once a farmer. He went out with his seeds, like the farmers do, to throw the seeds. But as he goes out with his bag of seeds to throw them, some seeds, they fell just on the pavement, just like on the road. And as they dropped there, the birds came and ate them. So they did nothing happen with those seeds. But as he's going, some seeds, they fell in the stony places where lots of stone is there. Here we see this. Now these seeds that fell in the stony place, they immediately took root and they started to come up. Yeah? But as soon as the sun came up, Alentejo sun, when the sun came up, because their roots were not deep, the sun was too strong, and they just dropped. They just died right there. As he went on, some seeds, they fell in amongst the brambles, the weeds. These seeds also, they start to sprout, they come up. And they're growing together with the weeds, they're coming. But the weeds, the brambles, were much more powerful than them. And then they overcome these seeds, and they also perish. But some seeds, they fell on the good soil, and they grew and became great trees. And they produced beautiful fruits. And so all the beings, they came to take shelter underneath these trees and to eat their fruit. Now, to explain this metaphor, they say the farmer goes to sow the seeds. The farmer is like, it was called in the Bible the Son of Man, or a prophet, to come and sow the seeds of truth. And some seeds fell from the beginning again on the road. So they didn't have time to even send out one root. The birds came and took them. This means the people, the word came, the holy words come, but it did not even enter their mind or their consciousness. Something just distracted them and they're gone. So nothing happened out of this, you see? Then some seeds, they fell on stony places and they start to grow quickly. But when the sun came up, they just perished right there because they were not established. And these relate to the people who they hear the word and they respond. They're already responding, they're growing, But the sun comes and it's very hot. What is the sun? The sun means some difficulties in life, you see? Some trouble come. But because they're not established in the truth, they were not greater than the trouble. And they just broke. It broke their will. And the word perished in them. They didn't germinate properly. And it says some seeds, they're falling in the thorny places. They're falling in the weeds. And they're also growing. They grow with the weeds together. But gradually the weeds are stronger and they just overcome them. These correspond to the people who they hear the word, but the daily troubles of life and the bills have to be paid and children have to go to school and then there's been a drought and we are going through a recession and all these things. overwhelmed their mind, okay, and the word perished in them, meaning it didn't develop any further. And again, they did not go further. But some seeds fell on good soil, and they grow through the different seasons, through the spring and the summer, autumn, winter, through the rain and the cold and the scorching sun. They grew, and they became mighty trees. So great they were that other beings could come and take shelter from the sun underneath them and eat from their fruit. These are those who heard the word inside the heart, and they begin to grow. And every kind of trial come, difficult times come, families break up, jobs go, you're broke, everything. But the inner power is so strong, it never got blown over. And they become the mighty oaks, the mighty trees. And then somehow other beings come now to take rescue in their presence, you see. They are inspired by these mighty oaks of beings. And they take their fruit, meaning that they take the nectar from their mouth, from their presence, and they use it as nourishment for their own growth. Now, for a long time, I felt that these are different types of beings. But then when I looked at my life, I saw it could also be the different stages of one life. Maybe there was a time when these things came to you, but you were not so quickly distracted. And another time, something, the word came to you somehow, the presence came, but somehow a little bit of trouble come and you're distracted and it's gone. Another time, it's again the word come, the Spirit is present in you. But the little nonsenses of life and the bills and stuff come, and it suffocated your opportunity. And then a good season come. And the word, the presence, began to sprout and to get strong and to grow. And then nothing can shake him. Nothing can shake you. This is the maturity of the being. And this is what is happening through Satsang. When I say to become immersed in the energy field of Satsang. Because it is not easy to live in this world without the powerful understanding. It is not easy to come here to work hard, to have children, to do the things that it seems society wants of you and still stay true in your heart. It's not easy. Only grace make it happen like that. And grace and life are one. Grace and life are one. Whatever direction your life take, wherever you find yourself, if you have the right mind, you'll be grateful for your life. Because your river has to flow like this. And it is tailor-made for your realization. Your life is tailor-made for your realization. Don't watch other people's life too much. Your life is right for your realization. You're not in the wrong life. You're not in the wrong body. You're not in the wrong time. This is why I say to you, say thank you. Your life is not an accident. It's very much a part of this great dance. We don't need more beings. We don't need more riches. We don't need more clothes. We don't need more food. It's not this. If anything this world needs is to see the truth embodying itself in the human's experience. That we don't just talk about truth, but we exude truth. We radiate truth. Not as preachers, but just as being. Because people can argue with words and argue with books, but they cannot argue with presence. The Buddhas of this world, they walked on this planet, they looked at the same moon like we're looking at today. They enjoyed the same warmth of the sun, the same sun. They looked on the same mountains, they enjoyed the same feelings. They were thirsty just like you, they're hungry just like you. They felt loneliness just like we felt. Yes. But they were examples. They were the light that caused all of us to find that truth. I don't feel life is for some few. I feel that, I don't feel in fact. I know that we are that. But if anything is the realization of it, the recognition of what we are, that is what's called the real life. You're not going to become the truth. Maybe you stop becoming the lie. This is what I have to share today. I'm going to read this last letter now for now. Dear Mooji, 2 days ago I saw you online for the first time. It was a satsang in Moscow. When I went to bed, I felt calmness I have never felt before. I had no trouble getting asleep. It was like laying down on water or sand and slowly and nicely going underneath it. The next day was calm and good, and today is the second day. It is like you said on one of your satsangs, there are cases when it happens instantly, like a curtain has opened. It was like that. I notice that I am moving slower, and I feel great warmth in my heart and chest, and I'm happy. It is so pure. Today I cried in happiness. Today I cried in happiness just because I heard a song that I like. It was in the supermarket and the cashier, and I felt no shame and no embarrassment. Just fulfillment and self-sufficiency. I know nothing about Buddha teachings. I meditated a few times recently, but I was searching. I feel a need to meet you because I feel connected to you. I need to learn, and because that's the way it is. Thank you for reading the emails. My will is here. Jure, J-U-R-E, from Slovenia. J-U-R-E. Yuri. Yuri, this is a beautiful letter, beautiful testimony from someone in whom somehow Satsang spoke directly into your heart, bypassing your mind. You see? You have heard of a heart bypass. This is a mind bypass. It bypassed your mind and went directly into your heart. And in your heart does not argue, you know. Heart does not argue. It doesn't have any opinion. You see, it only responds. You know? And this is a letter of response from heart. So, I am with you. You're right, I need to learn, and that's because that's the way it is. But that learning, sometimes the best learning, it just happens. In our culture, we feel everything by effort, to try and push and force and scratch your head, and But when your heart is open, some things are known here that you will never learn from books. It's like your own book open. Your own book open. And you come to know things without doubt. Because they did not come out of thinking. They came as a revelation, as insight. You see? This is the gift of the Spirit. There is one more letter. And let me see if there's any more. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay. Dear Mooji, I carry a huge sorrow inside my heart. I wish I could live surrounded by Sangha and the Master, in peace, silence, away from too much distractions of the mundane and worldly life. I have such a yearning to live the life of the child of the enlightened ones. In order to ripen the nature of my mind constantly, like the flow of a river, and close to the like-minded friends. But I am also very afraid to leave everything behind. I am even uncertain if that would be the best. I have a young child loving his father tremendously, who needs me too. I love this boy so much. But my partner, in bracket, and father of my 5-year-old son, is not on the spiritual path and used to be scared, in bracket, still, but is less and less as I become more at ease and relaxed. Is good. So the father is not on a spiritual path and used to be scared of the intensity with which I dive into the Dharma. He likes the life he lives here in Cologne, with social life, his work as film director and writer. He is fully satisfied apart from the fact that we feel different and my Dharma longing. I am very scared to leave this life behind. What is needed to be done? How and where could I live? With what money could I survive? What is the best of all for us? What can I do? I don't know what the next step is about. Shall I stay and continue awakening within this surrounding? Would I suffer the same things living on retreat land? I am stuck with these questions for more than 2 years now. Please help me. Thank you, Jana. It's a good letter, no? We say even here at Monte Sahaja, let Monte Sahaja be your spiritual home, not your physical home. Even you can come and you spend time here and drink deeply from this nectar here, and go anywhere you have to go in your life. This is the real way, like I would say like that. And when I meet and hear from you, I'm meeting you in this letter now, like that, I feel that your heart, your river is already flowing. It's flowing and it's taking you, no? But this decision you have to make is not necessary. The decision itself is troubling you, you see? The decision itself is troubling. Should I leave everything behind? There's no need to leave everything behind. Just find yourself. It's not about leaving things behind. Even they say sometimes in India, where it's very common to see sadhus, these wandering monks, they leave everything, they leave family, everything, and they walk around with their begging bowl and their stick and a few clothes. But sometimes they leave worldly attachments and pick up spiritual attachments. You see? Worldly conditioning replaced by spiritual conditioning. And that's not the goal. You see? So, of course, it would benefit you to come to something like a retreat or something like this. This would be very good. And then you find your true retreat, which is inside your heart. You find that true retreat. It's a challenge to live with someone who has a different outlook in the deep place. And some people, their outer life looks very different, but inwardly they're more harmony. Outwardly, One is a fisherman, the other one is a librarian. But they live nicely together, they got their life to nurse, because inside they have a connection which is more deep. And some people, they have, outside the life look okay, but inside they're nothing. Inside they're not meeting. Maybe like in this letter now, she says, I have my own attraction to the truth, but my partner is worldly minded, who enjoys this thing. Should he enjoy spiritual life? No. Let him be there. Let him do what he wants. I don't say that try and convert anyone. You can, if they are attacking your path, it's no good. Kick him out. If you're attacking your path, you're meditating, what you're doing, ringing bells over your head, whatever, then this is not good. Then you have to know, look, this is not going to work, But if they leave you alone and they say, look, I'm happy that you're happy doing your thing, but it's not for me, But still you find that there's a good connection and so on. Then just leave it to consciousness. Say, you know what, it's good, it's okay, it's okay. You see, don't try and work on them to try and make them spiritual and keep writing spiritual messages for them and stuff like that. Don't do this. Sending spiritual postcards. Leave them alone. It's very annoying. You see, like that. Just be yourself, be kind, and so on. And in their own time, maybe, you don't know what changes a human being. We don't know what does it. Just you be yourself and leave it to life. Don't, like I say sometimes, God is my secretary, I arrange all my meetings, everything is taken care of. I don't go about setting anything. Life just unfolds it. And if you can live a bit like this, somehow you find, it's kind of okay. The thing that you think was really a bad thing turned out to be a good thing. Don't be so quick to create premature calculations and conclusions about life. Just better be empty. And then you find that somehow you're in real time with the universe somehow. And it's so fresh, your life is so, you never get stale, you're never bored. Because the light of the consciousness is always fresh. This would be something. So I'm very scared to leave this life behind. Leave only the attachment to it. Leave only the attachment to it. You see, you don't have to leave the life behind and somehow go and try and be different. Because you can't, if it's not right for you, you won't be able to do it. After a while, you get broken-hearted, you come back, husband is gone, money, everything is gone. No? I don't think that would happen anyway. I think that even if you try and it was a mistake, it's still a divine mistake. You will find you learn something from it. You see? So what is need to be done? How and where could I live? And what money could I survive? You just have to be in your heart. You just have to be in your heart. I say this thing is the most beautiful thing. You don't have to know a lot of things. You don't have to have anything prepared. You don't know anything at all. But if your heart say, go this way, inside you know it, just get an urge and you move this way, some place will open for you. It's like that. But if you say in your mind, I think I should leave and I should become a monk and I should go and live in a tree and all this type of stuff, and you find that maybe it's more hardship will come. Yeah? Because you're living it from the head. So you must know the difference between when when your head is speaking and when it's just arising as an intuition inside you. You must know the difference of this. And this sensitivity, this subtlety, this intuitiveness is growing, is going to grow inside you. Just keep quiet. Quiet, it's good. And so what money would I live to survive on? What is the best for all of us? The best for all of you is stop worrying about it. What can I do? I don't know what the next step, nobody knows what the next step is going to be. That's what's so beautiful. You see, some people think, I got to know, already, they have their diaries for 2014 full because they can't bear the idea that they don't know. See? But once you are free of these things, you don't want to know. Somebody say, well, on Thursday morning we're doing this. Well, you want to come? Why do I know that? Yeah. It's still Sunday. Yeah. I know. I'm thinking about Thursday for, Instead of filling up my space. So you don't bother with all of that. And then you see, when you let go of your projections, then alone you begin to see the miracle of the universe. she will not show herself to you. You see, while you're filled with your own projection, because you're blind. But when you somehow let go and be surrendered and say, okay, you know best. Yeah. Show me, teach me how to walk. Make my heart sensitive and soft for you. I have nothing. Little by little comes in, you start to feel your way. It's very beautiful. Yeah? Shall I stay and continue awakening with this surrounding? Yes, yes. Would I suffer the same things living on a retreat land? Suffering is not outside, it's inside. I am stuck with these questions for more than 2 years now. Be unstuck. Please help me. This is the help. Isn't it? It's very good. I'm happy for this time sometime because, as I said before, I don't really feel it is always appropriate to read the letters in Satsang when I have a living group in front. I want to like this. And that we have a chance to look at some of these letters because people write in very often with these things. And sometimes I find myself saying, listen, I've answered all your questions. Every question I've answered, if you're smart. You see? Because all you have to do is exchange that problem for yours. And it's the same thing. You say, okay, yeah, it's the same thing. It's not, you see? Otherwise, you become too tight. There are some people selling books, consciousness for women, and consciousness for men, consciousness for pets. I don't know, whatever they do. And people, there's a new one concept, you see? That is a woman consciousness, a man consciousness, There's a natural emptiness here. Don't try and fill it with anything. It cannot be filled anyway. But attempting to fill it, not understanding it, because sometimes the mind interprets it like there's nothing going on, I'm bored, and this type of stuff. And if you purchase this type of suggestion, then already you're running around like I don't know, just a waste of time. Get a bit more accustomed to the sense of emptiness until your mind itself loves it. Don't keep giving toys to your mind. Then the joy, which is not the joy outside. Sometimes we're too much looking to have joy from outside. Happiness comes from outside, from something you buy, or someplace you go, or somebody you meet. And you deny your own joy. And this is not selfish. Because when you have found your own joy, you see, you can still enjoy things, but you're enjoying them through your joy. You see? And you are never going to be a burden. Because the worst thing is to keep looking for other people for joy. But you are yourself, and wherever you go, a garden will grow there. Not because you want to go and start anything, but your presence is refreshing. You see? Some people, their presence is very heavy. The ego is heavier than a mountain. Then even if you don't speak, they feel your noise. Because inside you're not quiet. So fully be baptized in your own self, your own inner ocean. You see. Because this the world has not seen. We don't need a movie about truth. You are yourself the truth. But it has to be undressed of the lie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Namashivaya, Namashivaya, Namashivaya. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This cat is getting longer and longer and longer and longer. It's becoming a bench. Very good. Hmm? Hmm? Come, come.
I want to thank you for this time that I've been here and that this happened too, or not.
It is good.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it has been like an answer to my prayer, because I didn't know about you, and I just came to Portugal, to Alentejo, like this in my life.
Yes.
And lots of things were happening.
Yes.
I was giving up my life. And I just, okay, I'm going to Alentejo, to a community. And we'll see what happens.
Yes.
And I met you. I just wish to.
I'm happy because I can say with my heart, full heart, that the greatest discovery you're going to make, the greatest discovery you're going to make is inside you. There's no place, even if you're an astronaut and you go to other planets, it will not compare to one who is awake to the truth of themselves. You see? It will not compare. Because everything that you do with your mind dressed as the ego is unstable and impermanent. If we can appreciate impermanence in a correct way, it's a beautiful thing. The changeful has to change. But if we are identified with the ego is also changeful. And it wants to stop other things from changing so that it can be eternally a certain way for it, which it can never enjoy. Because its nature is restless. So only the one who is discovering that, and it does exist, And it is provable to the one whose heart is open. And it's not going to be another 2 years and 3 years and 5 years. Because it's here now. It's just a question of how much space there is in you for this. For a while, desires will keep molesting you. Because nobody just enjoy having desires. Your desires are to be fulfilled. Otherwise, they just molest you and make your mind, your life narrow, you see? Because you want this thing here, you want this thing here. And somebody is telling you about that thing, but you only can think about this thing. So you're never present, you're never flexible, you're not available. Because all you want is this thing. All your whole life, all you want is a banana. That's all I want, a banana. Somebody shows you a grape, no, shows you all these beautiful vineyards, just all thing. Then you're a very poor person. You see? So such desires, they molest you. And she's just saying now, I came here, I didn't know. We came to Portugal just to look for something to kind of find my life or something. Just want to go to a community, and then you stumble across this place. So some grace is guiding your life. Because in discovering satsang, you're saving a lot of time and worry and trouble. Because what may take the regular person another 8-10 years to process can be processed in a few days here. Because you're moving at a greater speed, in a different dimension than your mind. The mind is very slow and struggling. But when you're pushed into the heart space, you move into timelessness. And some things you think, oh, I tried so hard to do this, they fall away without any effort. Because your attention has shifted from time to timelessness. From form to formlessness. From death to life, actually. And I'm not content to tell you to believe this, but to discover this. To discover this, you see. And you've been here discovering. Yes. Not merely only believing. Believing is very great, very good. But discovering. And it shows. When something is discovered inside your heart, it shows. You don't have to talk so much because it shows. Why we talk so much? Because it doesn't show. We talk a lot because it's not true. You're trying to convince people of something. It's not yet happened. When it's happened, you keep quiet. Then people start to ask you, what's going on? Why you look so happy? Why are you so peaceful? You say, oh, no, it's nothing, man. Say, no, but tell me. I want some of that. But when you don't have it, you start to talk about peace, it's like this, and you talk for 10 hours about silence. Okay, that's very good. You're going somewhere?
I don't want to go. I'm going to Brazil.
To Brazil? Okay.
Yeah. 22nd.
Which part of Brazil? To Belo Horizonte?
Rio, but
Rio,
I'm
maybe.
going to visit my family, and then I'm not going back to Rio.
Okay. We see. Very good. Very good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.